and thanks for watching our video on sports safety and children's in the ages of 9 to 12. I'm Jessica.
I'm Samantha.
I'm Janet.
I'm McLawrence.
So today we are here to discuss about children's safety. We're gonna focus on the sports injuries that occur on the children of the ages 9 to 12. We're also gonna focus on some of the yearly checkups and the assessment that they do, like they are checking for their height, weight, nutrition, and other stuff. So we're also gonna be looking at the public service announcement, the funding, that is promotions, advertising. TV adverts is the most influential form of reaching out to parents and children in sports safety. So lifelong implications include injuries that could cause future damages, like permanent physical disabilities and their development in general. So we are also going to be looking at what alters a child's growth and development and how it relates to these sports. So if sports safety is not well implemented, it could affect a child's well-being, which could alter a child's growth and development.
So we're just going to go over some of the assessments that are relative to the sports safety.
So for a child to be fit to do any sport, we're gonna look at their growing, their height. So if kids should be growing about 5 centimeters every year, that is around 2 inches. So school age children 6 to 12. Just make sure the children are growing properly, and that can be checked during their yearly checkups. Okay, in relation to their height, you also have to check for the weight. So kids should be gaining at least 1.8 to 3.2 kilograms. That is around between 4 to 7 pounds per year. So ensuring that every year you are checking your child's weight is good.
So then the next one is balance. So children around the ages 10 to 12, they're starting to go through puberty, and this may temporarily affect the child's balance and coordination. So we just want to pay attention to those kids. And so the way that you can assess this is you can just observe a child on the playground, or you could have them do a balance beam like this, or tandem walking, which is walking heel to toe, just watching child do that. And then that also relates with coordination. So the same, the puberty is affecting their coordination, so you can just be watching while they play sports to see how they're doing with that. Or you could throw the tennis ball and have them catch it with one hand, or like rock climbing, that includes hands and feet. And then for eyesight, it's really important that they have routine screenings to see if they have any abnormalities, because if it is caught early, it can be treated. And children may complain that they can't see the board, and this may cause headaches or trouble learning in school. So it's also important while they're playing these sports that they're able to see if balls are flying at their face, or if they are in the outfield for baseball and they're supposed to catch it. It's very important that they can see this flying object so that they don't get hurt. And this can be assessed either at schools or at the eye doctor using those charts with shapes, or if they are older, the letter charts.
So yeah, hearing. It is very important for children's safety in playing sport to be able to hear adequately, because hearing play one of the key role in sport. So according to the Joint Committee on Infant Hearing, which was released 2007, it identified 10 risk factors for delay onset of progressive hearing loss in children. And this came out with some evidence which suggests that for 9 years old with educationally significant hearing loss up to 50%, we have passed newborn hearing screening. It is good that a child be screened for hearing because whenever the child is screened for hearing, and a screening result should be sent immediately to the family so they understand the outcome and importance of follow-up when indicated. For screening, a complete evaluation of both ears is recommended, even if only one ear failed the initial screen. So it is better that a child be checked for screening every time before and after sport. Scoliosis. One of the key important, as we all can see right here from the back here, the spinal cord. You can see how the whole spinal cord here is directed from the picture that we can see right here. For every mistake on one joint is a serious problem to an individual. So it is very important that children be checked also for that. The importance of this check span before a spinal injury could worsen from a physical sports injury. So there was some resources that I checked on, and it made me to understand that certain high risk activities can exacerbate the problem. Meaning, children should be protected. They should be given the wear equipment for sport because, like, sometimes while running and one person hit the other person's arm, it could resolve the problem and they could develop the stomach problem. So it is very important that children's safety be monitored at all times.
Okay, the next assessment that is very important are concussions. Concussions usually are caused by a blow to the head or another part of the children's body. Concussions are an important assessment to watch for because they can cause temporary or permanent issues with how the brain communicates with the rest of the body, and it could even cause long-term implications. It can also cause serious health issues longer or further down the road. It is important to know the common signs and symptoms of a concussion, so if a child does get hit during the head during a game or practice, that child can then be removed from practice and brought to the doctor just to make sure that everything is okay. We have provided a little informational video that kind of goes over these signs and symptoms and what to do if you think a child has a concussion.
Here, remember about concussions. First, learn the signs and symptoms. Second, a simple rule. When in doubt, sit them out. Finally, if handled properly, most young athletes will be back in the game without any long-term consequences. To learn more, visit safekids.org.
All right, and then the last assessment is nutrition. It is very important that kids who are involved in vigorous activities such as a sport are getting adequate carbohydrate intake and replenishing fluids that may be lost during the physical activity. A good, well-balanced diet includes things like whole grains, 2 to 3 servings of fruit, 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day, also healthy fats such as avocados and lean meats like turkey or chicken that don't have the skin. And then it's also important that children are consuming, girls need 7 cups of water and boys need 8 cups of water a day. However, like I said, when they have either a game or practice, they need to increase their water intake to make sure that they're replacing any fluids lost through sweat. Okay, so for our PSA, we decided to host a little educational/informational session on sports safety. We went over some fun facts and talked about concussion, things like that. We decided that the most effective and cost-effective places to advertise our public service announcement would to be to post it on websites such as a school website or Brooklyn Parks Athletic Association's sports safety page. Otherwise, the video could also be shown in gym classes and parent-teacher conferences. That way, both parents and children get the necessary information to understand how to be safe when they're playing sports. And then the brochure that is shown in the video could also be posted in local businesses on their bulletin board, such as a local coffee shop or somewhere like Cub Foods that has a bulletin board. All right, hi everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for attending this quick little information session on sports safety for kids in ages 9 to 12. I have this little informational brochure for you that we can go over quickly. So I'd like to just highlight some of the more important things on the brochure, the first of which being concussion safety. Concussions are a huge factor into sports safety for children, and the reason is because concussions and brain injuries impact how children can potentially grow and develop. So it's important to know the signs and symptoms and what to do if a concussion happens. Another important thing is water consumption. Girls should be drinking about 7 cups a day and boys should be drinking 8 cups a day. And then on days that they have practice or a game, they should be drinking more water or even something such as Gatorade to help replenish electrolytes and prevent dehydration. And then you can flip to the back. There is a little graphic on equipment such as helmets, shin guards, mouth guards, knee pads, and then proper shoes that are really important for keeping your kids safe. I'm going to ask you guys a couple quick questions to kind of gauge your knowledge and see if you have any questions when we're done. First is, what sport has the most reported injuries?
I think football.
It's a good guess, but the answer is actually basketball. And then what is the most common injury related to sports in children's age 9 to 12?
Fall.
That's a really good guess. The answer is actually sprains and fractures in bones. What are the most common signs of concussions?
I would say it's confusion.
Yep, confusion is definitely one of them. Things such as confusion, dizziness, headaches if they seem dazed are all important signs of concussions to note. If you see a child that gets hit in the head and they're kind of losing direction, it's really important to pull them out of the game and then bring them to the doctor just to make sure that everything is okay. And then another question is, what we kind of touched on it already, what equipment should be used to prevent injuries?
Helmets.
Yep, helmets and those pads are all really important to keep those kids safe. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yes. Are there any resources that we can find that would help us know more about these resources? This information.
Yeah, so Hennepin County actually has a couple different resources. One really good one is Safe Kids Worldwide. They have a local office in Hennepin County. They offer different classes on sports safety in children, such as concussion information, proper nutrition, and things like that. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
This is the brochure that we would have included with the presentation if we were presenting in person. So this is the one that was featured in the video. It has concussion safety, some fun facts, nutrition, community resources, and a quick little visual on the proper equipment that are required for various sports.
So now we're moving on to nursing implications. So when we're educating our clients and the families, what are we looking for? So for behaviors, the behaviors that we want to change, we want to change the lack of use of proper safety equipment. So the goal behavior for that would be ensuring that kids are wearing proper safety equipment when they're playing in the sports, even when it's just a practice, making sure they're always wearing those helmets and pads and mouth guards. And then what we want to change, allowing a child to continue to play after head trauma. So when in doubt, sit them out. We want to see parents and coaches and families be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of concussion and be able to know that this child should sit out for the rest of the game and not allow them to continue to play. And so we also want to change kids who are not drinking enough fluids. We want to make sure that they are drinking the appropriate amount of water for the activity that they are doing and making sure they are replacing those electrolytes. And we also have the incentives for changing this behavior. So why is this even important to you? Well, we think that a child's safety is most important to all of us. We just want kids to be safe and live a healthy life. So we just want to make sure that they are wearing those helmets at all times in these sports. And why is this important to us as nurses? Well, for Healthy People 2030, one of the goals is to reduce the rate of deaths in children and adolescents at ages 1 to 19 years old. So making sure that they're safe when playing these sports and participating in physical activities, just making sure that they're safe will help us reach this goal.
And then we as future nurses play a super important role in this, as when the children are there for their annual checkup or their back to school checkup, we can educate them on the things such as concussion safety, sports safety, and then if we, determine what sport they want to play, we can educate them on what safety equipment is important, being if it's shoes that protect their ankles or mouth guard, helmets, or specific pads for the specific sport.
So when it comes to funding, we have to consider the local professional sports teams. That is, these teams, so many kids look up to the local teams and these, the well-known athletics. So we can talk to these people to volunteer and take part in the training for the children. So this helps the children implement it more because they are seeing someone who's professional doing it. So an inspiration to these kids is important. So local professional athletes. So kids who engage in sports have famous role models in their community. They emulate their behaviors. These athletes could empower children's sports by ensuring they are safely equipped and follow all safety precautions. So they could even be advertised, have a picture of a famous athletics in a sports field, so these kids can take it more seriously when they see it is from someone they take as a role model. So for the local businesses, they could reach out to the local people by donating, and if those businesses sell these sports equipments, they could give discounts and hand out brochures that inform the information will reach. This will ensure the information reach the community.
Wow. So, what resources are there? Well, we decided to use Brooklyn Park Athletic Association as a link, and they also have connection with CDC on the information of concussionless, which is with some training information, like coaches. Yes, coaches play a vital role in child safety. In sport when it comes to safety, because coaches spend most of the time with the children on the field, everywhere the children play. Even in the park and other places. So coaches are there to inform the children how to use safe material so that they can be on the safe side, not getting themselves injured. And parents also play another key role in the child sport event, because the parent there to encourage the children to use helmet, to use or shin pad to use, and other sport material that will help them be safe on the field there. So parents are there to advise the children and make sure they listen and use those equipment as necessary as they can. And for sport officials, Those people, sport officials also play another key role in the children's life when it comes to sport, because those officials are the one who spend money, and they are the one who try to organize those teams and put children together so that they can play and try to form a well organized team. So officials are also there too to look into it that the children be safe by providing safe equipment and by purchasing and sometimes doing advertisement and make sure those children are well equipped. And for young athletes, the young athletes should also look up to, they should use the older ones as their role model and watch up for safe equipment that will help them be well set and be well safe in times when it comes to injury prevention. So on the other hand, we have like Safegate Minnesota at the Hennepin County office that has a child injury prevention program, including sports safety. Some of those issues that were addressed was like hydration, concussiousness, sports related injuries. For hydration, we all know that it is very important because the more the children run and up and down in the field, the more they become dehydrated. So it is important that they have times to drink water and they have resting period. And for concussiousness, we know for every time the child moves up and down, the heartbeat, and for every short hit, it can cause a serious injury or a brain trauma. So for this reason, they should use material like helmet at all time, not partially, but at all time, so that they can they can prevent concussions. Then, for sport-related injuries, we have so many sport-related injuries like knees, like elbow joints, and other stuff. But for today, I will really be focusing on strains, because strains are by far the most common of all sport-related injury, simply because children use so many muscles and tendons when they exercise or play. So it is very important that we use equipment at all time in there so that we can prevent injury.
All right, thank you so much for watching our video. Please let us know if you have any questions.